14 years of marriage ended in silence, no fights, no tears. Just a manila envelope and a cold motel room where a broken man learns that survival isn't about fixing what's shattered, but finding the strength to build something new from the ruins. The courthouse echoed with a silence that clung to my skin as I stepped onto the marble floor with a manila envelope pressed tightly against my side. Inside it were my divorce papers, signed and sealed, the last page of a chapter I never imagined would end. 14 years reduced to ink on paper, a nod from the judge, and a silence that screamed louder than any argument could. No tears were shed, no voices raised, just an unbearable quietness that marked the death of a marriage. Outside, the sun mocked me with its warmth, but I felt no heat. I had no home to return to, not anymore. She kept the house, the memories, the life we built. I left with 2 suitcases, a worn copy of To Kill a Mockingbird, and the heart that forgot how to beat the car ride was a blur, not because of speed but because of the fog in my mind. I found myself on the outskirts of town, drawn to a blinking neon sign that read, Vacey Cable, Weekly Rates. The motel stood weary, its walls sagging under years of forgotten stories. Inside, the air smelled of stale cigarettes and desperate nights. The receptionist, a woman whose face carried the weight of years, handed me a keycard marked 207 without asking questions. Her eyes, sharp yet tired, scanned me like she had seen this scene play out countless times before. Room 2, got a good bed. You look like someone who hasn't slept in a while, she said, her voice devoid of pity, just understanding. When she asked if it had been a rough day, I could only nod. She offered no empty platitudes, just a soft warning. Feel everything, tonight, but don't let it follow you forever. Room 207 welcomed me with a single bed, a flickering lamp, and the ghost of old cologne clinging to the curtains. I sat on the edge of the mattress, staring at a blank wall, feeling like a shadow trapped in a body that no longer felt like mine. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I simply existed, a husk filled with memories that now belonged to someone else. Hours passed unnoticed. Hunger didn't come, only a thirst for something, anything that could drown the ache. I wandered to the vending machine for a soda, the hum of its compressor the only sound in a hallway that felt endless. On my way back, I passed the front desk where the receptionist still sat, cradling a cup of coffee between hands that seemed too delicate for the battles they had seen. She noticed me and asked if I wanted to talk. I joked about her charging for therapy, but she merely smiled, a soft, knowing curve of lips that held no amusement, only shared understanding. No charge tonight, son. Just been around long enough to recognize a man about to drink from a bottle of pain that never empties. We sat near a dusty plant in the lobby, 2 strangers bonded by invisible scars. I told her my story, not in a flood but in fragments, each word like a shard of glass extracted from old wounds. I spoke of my wife, how she fell out of love without a storm, just a slow erosion that left nothing behind. I confessed how I tried harder as she drifted further, how she labeled me boring for being stable, predictable, safe as if safety were a flaw. The receptionist listened, not to reply, but to understand. She shared her own story, a husband who left when illness made her inconvenient. No bitterness colored her voice, only a calm resignation that spoke of survival. The silence between us wasn't heavy. It was comforting, a shared blanket beneath which we could breathe without the need for explanations. She didn't offer solutions, just presence, and in that presence, I found a sliver of healing. That night, I didn't sleep well, but I rested. The restless ghosts in my mind seemed less eager to torment Mitha. Next morning, I awoke to a folded note slid under my door. Her handwriting was neat, the words simple yet profound. You survived the ending. That means you're strong enough to find a better beginning. Don't go back looking for the pieces. Let them stay broken and build something new. I read it twice, then a third time, as if absorbing the ink would somehow cement the truth in my heart. I left the motel without a destination, guided not by a map but by the quiet determination to exist beyond yesterday. Months slipped by like pages in a novel. I hadn't realized I was writing. I moved to a city where no one knew my name, where I could exist without the shadow of what had been. I found a job at a local bookstore, a place that smelled of paper and ink, where stories of others became my daily refuge. I joined a hiking group, not out of passion but out of the need to move forward, literally and figuratively. There, amidst trails and rocky paths, I rediscovered the simple joy of breath. The quiet miracle of a heartbeat that had once felt foreign laughter returned, not in boisterous waves, but in soft ripples that surprised me. The weight of the past didn't disappear, but it became manageable. Like a stone in my pocket, always present, but no longer paralyzing. The pain became a teacher, not a jailer. Strangers became friends, and though I never shared the full story, their presence built new chapters filled with moments of light. The motel receptionist's words became my silent mantra. In moments of doubt, I would hear her calm voice reminding me that the worst day is not the end, but a testament that better days can still unfold. Life didn't hand me grand gestures of redemption. It offered small mercies of customers. Smile at the bookstore, the serenity of a sunrise on a quiet trail, a shared joke that dissolved a heavy afternoon. There were nights when the ache resurfaced, sharp and unwelcome, but even then, I found solace in knowing I wasn't the only one navigating such storms. The receptionist, that woman whose name I never learned, had etched her wisdom into my journey without expecting anything in return. Her story became a lighthouse, a quiet beacon reminding me that endings are not graves, but doorways. One afternoon, while shelving books, a young woman approached me asking for a recommendation. She was going through a breakup, her eyes a mirror of the man I had been months ago. I handed her a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird and, without overstepping, shared the note I had once received. Her eyes welled with tears, and she whispered a thank you that felt like a full circle moment. Healing, I realized, often comes in ripples. The past remained a part of me, not as chains, but as lessons carved into my soul. I never saw the motel or its receptionist again, but their imprint remained, a subtle guidepost on my path to self-acclamation. When people asked how I survived that dark chapter, I would smile, not a forced, hollow smile, but one born of genuine reflection, and say, someone reminded me that the worst day isn't the end. It's proof that better ones can still come. And in that truth, I kept walking forward, step by step, word by word, heart still learning to beat with purpose beyond the echoes of goodbye.